Tanse, Natasha Delany here, and welcome to Unearthing Diamonds. I am super excited to be talking to you guys today about abandonment and how that can show up in our relationships, especially if it's a core wound that happened when we were really, really young. So for me, it was age 6. My name is Natasha Delany, and I am in Edmonton, Alberta. I am from Samson Cree Nation here in Canada, and I am a entrepreneur. I am a founder, and I am a mother of 5 beautiful children. I'm married. I have a business degree and a master's degree, both in business. I love business. And yeah, I just love who I am today. 6 years ago, I was not the me that many people know and love. I was a drug addict. I was an alcoholic. I was like I think I had finally just gotten back on my feet um, in December of 2018. I had gotten my own apartment, but months prior to that, for the months before that, maybe 2, 3 months, I was homeless, staying on a girlfriend's couch or on her in her extra bedroom on a mattress on the floor. And yeah, life was crazy. But this December 28th, 2024, I will be celebrating 6 years of sobriety. And I am super grateful for my creator, which I spoke about during my first episode. We are now in episode 2. And so yeah, being an Indigenous woman who is in recovery, who has struggled with addiction, with domestic violence. My now husband was in addiction with me, and for 2 years we were together during our addiction, and he became a drug dealer. And even though prior to this 2 years of very deep addiction, I never would have ever dated a drug dealer, like ever. And so, you know, to be in addiction and date a drug dealer, there was lots of toxicity, lots of domestic violence between us. And yeah, it was just a crazy, chaotic life. And so to now being 2 years, I think we've been 2 years married. His sobriety date is January 2019. I took him to AA, and we've been healing together ever since. And so maybe that's another conversation that I can have another day, just about what can we do if we've had domestic violence and toxicity and abuse with a partner. Is it possible to heal, and what does that look like? So yeah, I think that's a great topic for another episode. But anyways, the reason why I wanted to talk about abandonment and how that shows up um, in our relationships uh, is because this is actually something that Creator has made me very aware of in the last few weeks. And so it's something that I've been working through, something that I've been become aware of in the AA program. We're taught that more will be revealed. If we keep working our steps, if we keep on the healing journey, and having that continuous conversation with the universe, with God, with Creator, about what's next for me. Especially as we start as entrepreneurs, as we start to reach these new levels in our business. I always say personal development or entrepreneurship is is the biggest personal development game that you will ever go through, because our growth as entrepreneurs and founders stalls when there's something internal inside of us that needs to be worked through. And then once we are able to work through that, it's just like a floodgate opens for us. And so I have put out this huge goal for my business, which, as a transformation and business coach for Indigenous women entrepreneurs, offering a 6-month online course for Indigenous women entrepreneurs to level up, to turn their pain into their purpose, and having, going through the program for the first time with 6 Indigenous women and experiencing, the most amazing gratitude that I could ever asked for. As I watched the women transform in the same way that I did, as I watched the women have these amazing moments of clarity about who they are, about what they've gone through, and where they're going next. And so I made a new goal. I was able to get funding for the 6 women, and I made about $35,000 in 1 month. And so I set a higher goal, because that's what we need to do as entrepreneurial women, as entrepreneurs, is we keep setting higher goals. And so I set a higher goal for 16 Indigenous women entrepreneurs to start in the next cohorts, the next 2 cohorts. I'm going to do 2 cohorts at one time, so 2 cohorts of 8, and get funding for all of those women. And so that's something that I'm working on. And because it's a huge goal, I'm being asked and forced to level up. And it's been hard. I'm not going to lie. It's been very, very hard. Me and my husband have been going through couples therapy. I feel like in our sobriety, on this healing journey, we've spent so much time. I got my business degree, I got my MBA in these last 6 years of sobriety. I built 2 businesses in these last 6 years of sobriety. I mended my relationships with my children in these last 6 years of sobriety. And I feel like our relationship has really been that last thing. The way that we communicate with each other, the way that we talk to each other, and the way that we treat each other. I don't even know how we got this far, to be honest, but we did. And so now that's what we're working on, is how can we both evolve and get to that next level. And I feel like this is what really pushed me to set those goals, that really big goal. It's what pushed me to experience what I've been experiencing in the last few weeks. When we first started therapy, I was like, it's all him. I knew, there was me. There was me. I've been really struggling to forgive some things that have happened. Even though I've been doing the therapy, I've been doing the spirituality, I've been doing the things, and wondering, why can I not forgive him for what happened when we were in addiction, and how can he still want to be with me with all of these things that these things that I have done, and the things and how I've treated him because of these underlying resentment. Why would he still want to be with me? And so we started the therapy, and I've been doing my own therapy for a long time. My therapist has just changed my life amongst so many other things, but she's really been detrimental to my personal growth in the last couple of years. But I had a dream, and again, we went through domestic violence. He took my 3-month-old baby from me for 3 months. Like, there was just so much stuff that he was cheating. There's just so much stuff that I'm like, what, first of all, what am I doing here? Like, why can't I just forgive him, right? It's been 6 years and I'm continuing to stay. Why can't I just forgive him? And so I had a dream like 3 weeks ago where uh, he was leaving me. So he was leaving me in this dream, and we, he had another girlfriend, and I had so much rage. Look, Mama, I had so much rage inside of me in this dream. So much rage, like, and he was calm. Like, he's like, I'm just going. Like, I'm done. It's been too much. It's too much. And I had so much rage, and I could not for the life of me tell him that I didn't want him to go. But I knew deep down inside I didn't want him to go, but I couldn't tell him that. Anyways, I woke up from that dream, and I was like, a switch went on in my brain. And, Creator revealed to me the reason why I've had a hard time forgiving him. And it wasn't because of all of the shit that I had just described. It wasn't because of the domestic violence. It wasn't because he took our baby from me. It wasn't because any of this stuff that I thought it was. It was because when he did leave um, and took our baby for 3 months, and I didn't get to see him or my baby, I never once acknowledged that I was upset that he left. I never once acknowledged that I was upset that he didn't take my calls, that he ignored me, that he didn't come back. I had mentioned everything about everything else. You took my baby, you destroyed that connection between us, like all of these, like everything else but that. And I couldn't, I couldn't let him know that, like I couldn't let him have the smallest inclination in thinking that I loved him or cared about him at that time. Um, and so when that came to my awareness that's why I was still so mad at him, I immediately started crying. And then as soon as I started crying, it's like the floodgates in my mind opened, and I realized that, um, my mind, Creator took me on a journey on my mind of how all of this actually didn't start there. It started from when my mom, so when my mom was sick, when I was 6 years old, my mom was murdered. She's a missing and murdered Indigenous woman. And so it took me back to when I was coming home from her funeral, and I cried. I was crying, and like I remember my foster mom at the time. My foster mom was very psychologically abusive. I lived in that foster home from the time I was 3 until I was 14. And I felt like she didn't think that because I was already living with her when my mom passed away. My mom was trying to get supports, trying to get help. She's the one that had surrendered me to Child and Family Services so that she could do these things. And so, but Charlene, my foster mom, she was like, I felt like she just thought like, well, you didn't know her, like, why are you upset, And I didn't get to grieve. But I do know, now, just from that dream with Corey, my husband, that um that was the first time I felt abandoned. That was the biggest memory that I have of being abandoned. And then I I've been crying since then. I've literally been crying off and on, because it's like Creator, has been continuing to unravel this for me, and has shown me in the way that this has shown up in various times and relationships and ways, where I put up a block in my relationship, where I really don't think I have ever accepted love, um, or even believed in or understood what unconditional love was. And so it's been a journey. It's been a crazy journey, because even the fact that I won't completely be, and I haven't completely been 100% my silly goofy self, for fear of rejection or being abandoned, So I'd rather put the wall up. I'd rather, be shy. I'd rather like hide, um, not show my true authentic self because of this abandonment wound. And so I just have been super taking it day by day. I spoke to my therapist about this situation, and she told me, you need to be mad at your mom. Um, you've never had the opportunity to be mad at your mom, and it shows up as this rage, um, rage at my husband, just these little spurts of like rage and anger, and so. And I told her, I'm like, but I don't want her to feel bad. And she said, Natasha, you know, sh- uh, when they're on the other side, they want us to feel what we need to feel. They don't feel the same things that we do. They don't feel anger. They don't feel sadness. They don't feel these things. And they want us to heal. Like they're right alongside of us, encouraging us on this journey to do the things that we need to do that's going to help us in our individual evolutions. So be mad at her. She will love you anyways, and she will love you even more for it. And so that's what I've been working on, is just like imagining that little girl in that car on the way home. And I imagine her just being allowed to be angry. I imagine myself at, at this age being there, during my meditation, during these visuals. I imagine myself being there in that car with her and saying, it's okay to be angry. I'm allowing you to be angry. And her having this conversation with me where she's like, are you sure? Like, is it really safe for us to be angry? And me saying, you just be as angry as you need to be. Um, and so I just been doing this exercise visually whenever I'm feeling angry and whenever I'm feeling, sad, and uh, as these, more truths are revealed to me. I feel like I'm finally kind of, over. I just finished my moon time too, so I feel like that kind of like pushed everything, and so now I'm like finally like going towards an even keel, and I can see how this new profound awareness um, is really going to shift so much stuff for me. It's going to shift so much in how, and I've been working too on how I am with Corey, how I'm reacting, how I'm responding, how I'm talking, even just that awareness part, because that's where it starts. It's like becoming aware of these things, and when we are aware, then we can make the decision to change, um, and then not being hard on ourselves, because it can be humbling. It can be humbling, um, and upsetting to know that we hurt people, to know that we're not perfect, to know that we make and have made mistakes, and become aware of, for me to become aware of, the jealousy that I've had of everybody growing up, like having that explained to me, and like by creator, and like all of these understandings of, the ways that have showed up in my relationships, and I haven't treated people well. I have blocked people out, and so that's been super humbling, for me to work through, and I'm just super grateful, that creator, uh, that I feel safe enough, that I'm so well along my journey now, that this is something that I can, it's because this is huge. This is a huge thing, um, that has been revealed to me, that I'm safe enough now in my life to deal with this very big thing, that's really going to shift the trajectory of all of my relationships, and therefore my actions, my behaviors, and my path. So I can finally get to those really big goals that are meant for me, because I'm worthy, and so are you, sis. So thank you so much. Um, I'm really super excited to talk about my next episode. Um, maybe I do talk about the relationship situation, and how we can heal when there's been abuse, when there's been domestic violence, when there's been lots of that stuff, how we can heal as women, um, when two people are making the decision to change and then actually taking the action steps to do that. What does that look like? So anyways, thank you so much. Have a great day.